This situation keeps getting crazier as one New York Rangers player is solidifying his spot on the roster, and Jonathan Quick with another fantastic performance with back-to-back shutouts. But are the Rangers relying on their goaltending too much? We're going to break that down in this episode of Rangers Digest. But before we do, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 70% of you who watch our videos are not actually subscribed to the channel. So if you want to do yourself a favor, it's free. Hit that subscribe button and you get to stay up to date with everything New York Rangers. And the one player I was talking about who looks like maybe solidifying his spot in the lineup, or at least taking steps to do that, is Zach Jones with another fantastic game. And he's been playing some pretty good hockey when he's been in the lineup. And again, last night, he played fantastic, scored a goal, and he's been all over the ice. And Adam, with a little bit of a breakdown here, that he wanted to highlight Zach Jones specifically. Prior to scoring, he beat all three Seattle forwards by himself. It was a great end-to-end play, great 200-foot play, as they say, by himself to create a 3-on-2 zone entry. Got a little bit lucky, but got possession of the puck again, threw it on net. That's exactly what you got to do, and it was a great shot, went in. And this is what was missing against Florida last season. New York Rangers couldn't unlock the neutral zone. They need more puck movement from the back. And this is an interesting idea and observation of the Rangers play, because yes, that is true, and we'll get to that in a second. But I also think that the Rangers need to play more physical, and that probably what was missing big time from that series against Florida last year. I think it's the more of the physical and the heavier style of play, and that is from your best players. I'm not talking about throughout the lineup. You need it throughout the lineup, but it's got to come from your best players. So that was number one. But number two was the neutral zone play. I mean, the Florida Panthers figured them out after game 2 or after game 3, and they were not able to use the neutral zone at all. And this is a great point. I think the Rangers need more efficient puck movement from the back end. There's a couple guys who are not able to do that, but Zach Jones is a guy who does it. He does it effectively. Again, got a little bit lucky on the goal last night, but you got to be lucky to be good and good to be lucky. So making his own luck, and they need more puck movement back there. And I think if he continues to play this way, we'll be seeing more Zach Jones than not in the lineup throughout the season. But Zach Jones is the 18th different Ranger to score a goal this season. New York's 18 unique goal scorers are tied for second most in the NHL so far this season. I thought that was a very interesting stat, that, the Rangers are spreading the wealth so far this season. Whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, I think you need scoring all throughout your lineup, and they're showing that they can do that right now, and I think that's a great thing. But of course, you want your top guys to get going, and I mean, Panarin's been fantastic so far this season, at least in terms of point production. Again, with another fantastic assist to Lafreniere last night. Oh my goodness, it was just threading that needle right. Lafreniere didn't even move, just tapped it in. It was unbelievable. He's just standing there right in the crease, essentially. It was a great goal. And to get back to Zach Jones about, turning pro full-time, not pro, but playing in the NHL probably full-time this season, he said, that's the biggest thing about being a pro, trying to find a consistency level. Obviously, you're not going to be feeling your best every night, but trying to be around a B-plus player every night. And then when you have an A game, it's great. And he brought his A game last night. They needed that. Jonathan Quick kept them in the game to a certain degree. I thought it was a much better effort. And I saw a lot of people in the comments after last game saying, it's ridiculous that I was saying that they're back. But you got to take the little victories as well, right? Because of their shortcomings the last little while, even in wins, relying on their goaltending too much. Thought they had a much better effort against the San Jose Sharks. And yes, San Jose is not a great team, but Seattle, again, not a playoff team or anything like that, or a fantastic team in the league, I should say. But, or tops in the league or anything like that, but another pretty good performance. And yes, you rely on your goaltending a little bit, but maybe the Rangers have to do that some nights. Then they have the goaltending that's going to back them up as well. It is a problem that, they should get away from a little bit, but it's been good so far. The last couple games, they have been cleaning up a few things. Last night was pretty good, and Zach Jones had a great game. That's my point that I'm trying to make here. And Zach Jones rating, and this is from Hockey Stat Cards, which I love this account, really tells you the story of the game sometimes. Obviously, there's the eye test, but if you want a deeper dive into the advanced analytics, this is a great account for each player after each game. And Zach Jones' rating versus the rest of the league on offense, he's the 84th percentile. That's pretty good. Defense, 81st percentile, so great two-way game so far this season, and a net 86th percentile in the league. He's been fantastic, especially his underlying numbers as well. So he's been pretty good this year. I think we got to give him some flowers, and now is the time because he had a great game last night. He has been really good for the Rangers, pretty steady. And again, not everyone is on every night, like he said, but he's got to find a lot of this consistency. And once he does, I think he's going to be pretty dangerous for the New York Rangers. He is a great player. And again, this is his first year full-time in the NHL. So he is still figuring out some things, but he's been great. And I have some confidence in him. He was good. But to switch gears a little bit to Jonathan Quick. He became just the 4th goalie in the past 15 years to earn consecutive shutouts at the age of 38 or older, joining Mike Smith, Martin Brodeur, and Dwayne Roloson. So pretty good company there, some pretty good goalies there. And the last time he did it specifically was October 18th to 22nd in 2013. He did, and it was 3 in a row with the Kings when he was 25 years old. So Jonathan Quick turning back the clock a little bit so far this year in his last 2 starts, 2 shutouts, keeping the Rangers in the last game for sure. I mean, against Detroit, it was a better effort from the game that they played previously to that for sure, but it wasn't a great effort. He really held them in that game. And then again, last night, I mean, shuts the door. So when you have a 1-2 punch of Shesterkin and Jonathan Quick playing as well as they're playing, you are going to win more games than not, even when the rest of the team is not playing well. And now I think that is a problem. And I wanted to touch on that a little bit, that yes, your goaltending is not a problem. It is not a problem for the New York Rangers, but it's a problem in the way of when the team is relying far too much on them. So they have to continue to clean that up. That has been the biggest issue for the Rangers so far this year. The special teams have been great so far, tops in the league for sure. But it's the 5-on-5 play with certain lines that they have to clean up and relying on their goaltender and giving up too many shots every single night. So that's the things that they got to clean up. And again, got to give Jonathan Quick a shout out. I mean, 2 straight shutouts for the goaltender. Doing it at this age is pretty special. Although, you know, if you're in the NHL, you got to play well, right? So, and he is doing exactly that. So turning the clock back, he's been fantastic. So it's pretty, and this is Zach Jones on Jonathan Quick. It's pretty incredible, honestly. Zach Jones said, "I don't know how many guys his age would be able to move like that. It's pretty remarkable how good of a pro he is. He's one of the backbones of our team, and he proves it every night." And this is a screenshot from an article from Vince Mercogliano as well, and he's been doing some great work. And Quick didn't have to work nearly as hard for this one as he did for previous games, and of course against Detroit, but making 24 saves against Seattle after posting a 37 save shutout last week, or in his last win, I should say. But he is usually sharp when called upon, and now sits at 4-0 with an NHL leading .970 save percentage with a .91 goals against average, which is absolutely absurd. Small sample size, only 4 games, but those are insane stats. Jonathan Quick is playing fantastic. So just wanted to give Quick a shout out in this video. So he has been playing fantastic. And again, another shout out. And Zach Jones has been playing well as well. And I wanted to get into Zach Jones' stats just before we wrap up here. So far this season, he's only got into 11 games. He scored 1 goal and obviously 4 assists. He has 5 points. And plus minus, I don't like to look into plus minus too much, but he's a plus 10 this year. So I think that tells a little bit of a story. He's been pretty good so far this year. So good games all around, and the Rangers back in the win column. But let me know in the comments what you think of Zach Jones' play recently. And I think he's been pretty good. And obviously Jonathan Quick, I mean, he is one of the backbones of this team, literally, as the goaltending has been fantastic so far this season with Igor Shesterkin and Jonathan Quick. But let me know what you think in the comments. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.